Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Spooky Things with Debbie. We've had a very eventful week. We've had the um, Medieval Faith Fest this past weekend, and it went absolutely wonderful. We had a great time, and I think a lot of people had a good time too. So, and now we're back to doing what we always do here. I have Mr. Jason Hassler with me today. Hi, Jason.
How's it going?
No, pretty good. Jason and I are probably about as far apart in the United States that you can almost get. I'm way down here in Florida, and Jason is all the way in
I'm in
Vancouver,
Portland, Oregon right now, but I live in
Portland,
Vancouver,
Oregon.
Washington, which is right across the bridge. Yeah, so I'm in Portland at the moment. So
That's a long way. That's a long way.
yeah,
How cold is it up there right now?
it's 53. It was a relatively nice day today.
Wow, that's how cool it was down here. Of course, 53 up there for you guys is beach weather. Down here, we're freezing to death.
Pretty much, yeah.
Um, okay, so what we're going to talk about all kinds of things today, but what I would like to talk to you about is Big River Paranormal
Okay.
and Hassling the Paranormal. These are your two groups that you have. Um, Big River, I'm assuming, has to do with the location
Yeah.
of.
The original Big River team is started in Boise, Idaho. So we have a
Oh,
team in
really?
Boise and a team in Portland. So between I believe it's the Snake River there and the Columbia here, that's why they decided to call it Big River.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Idaho. What's the connection between where you're at now and Idaho?
Um. Well, I'm not really sure how the Portland team got started, but the Big River Paranormal was started about over 20 years ago in Boise, and it's been a couple different names over the years. But yeah, they got a team. They started one in Portland, and it's just kind of we've just kind of built the team here in Portland as well. We like to go to Idaho and investigate with our team over there sometimes. And but yeah, we're the Taps family team for Oregon, Idaho, and Southwest Washington.
Very interesting. Okay. What about Hassling the Paranormal? Is that
Hassling the Parent,
located in a different location?
that's my radio show that airs in Vancouver,
Oh,
Washington. Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah. So it's
Well,
very
there you
similar,
go.
kind of like this. I have a guest on, and we chat about paranormal stuff for it goes on the radio. So yeah,
Okay. So, well, let's get into that. Let's talk about your paranormal team, the Big River Paranormal. Um,
okay,
Tell me some of the spots that you've been at because I'm really not familiar with anything really that far.
yeah.
We're
So
kind of southern based here.
our Boise team does public investigations at the old Idaho State Penitentiary in Boise, and then there's the Geyser Grand Hotel in Baker City, Oregon that they do because it's closer to them than us. And we pretty much we go all over Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. Let's see, last weekend our Portland team spent the weekend at a place called Port Gamble, Washington. So we had what's called the Port Gamble Ghost Conference there, and the whole town is haunted. It's a really cool conference. A bunch of teams get together. We do some investigations. There's lots of speakers, and I taught a class there on paranormal investigation ethics. So that was a really good time. So yeah,
It sounds like it.
yeah.
Do you have a big team? Is how many people you have on your team there?
I believe we have eight right now
Okay.
in Portland. I'm not sure how many Boise has, but I know they have probably double that
Oh,
active
it's a bigger
members.
team then.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So, so these are pretty big institutions that you go to. Are they?
yeah.
They're not. They're not still open though. They're
No, well,
closed down. time.
Geyser Grand Hotel is open for business. Yeah, they're
When
open
you
for
get there,
business. Um, there was let's see, we had one incident where a door opened on its own. We got that on camera there. And as well as I wasn't there, but we had some investigators that were in the basement area, I believe, which there's reports of a little girl spirit there, and there was this awkward smell, some weird like perfumey smell, and they were trying to find the source of it. So some of the girls were like on their hands and knees smelling over the ground and trying to figure out where the smell's coming from, see if there's something coming from under the door or something. And we got an EVP of a little girl saying that's silly. So
really?
that was a pretty cool one from there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Um, Now, when you go on these investigations, do you record a lot of what you're doing? Do you tape a lot of what you're doing and then air it
Yeah.
later on?
What we do is we take it, depending on the client. We do record video and audio. It depends on what the client like. If it's a residential, we never share that. We keep residentials confidential. But if it's a commercial location and the client signs off on it, then we can put our findings on our website. But yeah, but we can keep those confidential as well, depending on the client's wants and that kind of thing.
Right. It's interesting. Whenever we've done like bigger places, more public places, especially hotels, a lot of times they'll ask us to put it on the site
Yes. Yeah.
because it drums up business for them.
It sure
People
does.
want to
Yeah.
come and see, where did that happen at? How did
Ghosts are
that
big
happen?
business. Yeah.
Ghosts are big business. And it's really very interesting. Back years ago, you couldn't talk that word around a hotel. It was like, no, don't be telling
Right.
anybody we have anything like that. And now it's like, oh yeah, yeah, we want them to come and check it out.
Yeah. It's
Um,
funny when we check into the hotel and we checked in the hotel when we were staying in Port Gamble, and they were telling us which rooms they suspect are haunted, which rooms people have died in, and that's something you would never tell your regular clients. But you got paranormal investigators. You tell. I just thought it was kind of funny.
it is funny. It really
Yeah.
is. Um, we do tours of some hotels around here. We do
Yeah.
actual tours. One of the hotels in this area, we actually used to do a Halloween. Well, it wasn't a Halloween tour. It was always near Halloween
Yeah.
when we would do the tour, and it was like bombing every time that we would go. I mean, it was just people were coming. They wanted to see it, and it, it was a good business maker. But everything that we showed was true. It was what we actually did
Yes.
catch. We didn't
Yes.
exaggerate anything. You didn't need to. The truth spoke for itself. And then people would go and they'd stay in those rooms and they would find a whole lot of what we found there that they would experience themselves. So it was interesting. It was interesting.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it gets cold up where you are. And I've always
Yeah.
wondered, it gets cold up there. Do you notice a change in activity between the
Depending on the weather.
summertime and the winter? Yeah,
I've never really, I haven't noticed a difference really. No. Um, I mean, there's a theory that like lightning storms and stuff like that can trigger activity, but I haven't had enough, I'd say, research in that to make a proper theory on that. But yeah, I mean, as far as it being cold and hot, because summer times we get here, we get up to, it's usually 80 to 100 degrees here. So wintertime we just
mhm,
get a lot of rain here and occasional snow. But yeah, I mean, I haven't seen much difference in activity depending on weather. I know that I like to be more active in the summertime when it comes to investigating, because a lot of places that we investigate are old and historical places, maybe like they don't
yeah,
necessarily have heat. So, like, yeah, it can be
true.
really cold.
That's true.
Yeah.
I always kind of wondered about that. I mean, snow is, of course, precipitation.
Yeah,
And with water being a conductor, it was like, would it really matter if it was snow versus rain?
I'm not
Because it
sure.
does seem to pick up a bit, you know, when it rains. It does seem, it
Yeah,
just kind of gives it that little bit of a nudge that it needs. And I always kind of wondered about that with snow, if it did the same, because it's just nothing more than frozen rain. So, but a lot of people have said no, that they had not noticed a whole lot of
I
change
mean, it rains
in what they normally
7
see.
months out of the year here, so like not, it's always raining here. So it stops raining about July and starts raining again about September. So you know,
Wow. You're like London. It's
yeah,
just always raining. That's
gloomy and
really
depressing.
interesting.
Yeah,
You know what? I can see that. I can see how it would get kind of gloomy.
yeah, it really does.
Well, we had actually had snow here last year. I couldn't believe it, but I mean, I'm in Florida, and
Yeah,
San and Teresa are up in Alabama. Sounds like it's
yeah.
really far apart. I think we live like 30 minutes away from each other.
Oh,
It's
nice.
just the way
Yeah,
that, yeah, just like right across the border. But yeah, we couldn't believe it. We had like 6 inches of snow, and it was mind blowing to me.
yeah,
That's like, I live in Florida. It shouldn't be doing this, but it was for us ultra cool. For you, it's a pain in the tusk, I know, but
yeah,
for us, it
yeah.
was like, ah, this is great. This is wonderful. But what when you go to these big buildings, do you rely a lot on your instruments, or do you tend to take it pretty much on a personal experience kind of a thing? Do you find that using
Um,
your equipment is burdensome, or
well, not well. Yeah, yes and no. I mean, like having like it's really hard to do like EMF, measurements in a huge prison.
mhm.
You just can't do it all. But you can definitely, check the areas where people claim, high hotspot activity areas. And as far as equipment, we always carry like our digital recorders and video cameras. That's mainly what we'll use on an investigation like that.
Yeah, we're the same way. We're the
Yeah,
same way. We set up our video cameras and we have them running all the time.
yeah,
But I think that we go by a lot of individual experience on
yeah,
where we've been, what each person has a capability of doing. And we use those as tools when we go into someplace like that. And we'll bring out equipment that matches what our experience level is, and as far as what we're capable of doing all by ourselves. And then using the tool just heightens that. Oh, there you are.
there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, my phone was doing something weird, so I'm back now.
You're back now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's pretty interesting. Um, it's it's always been interesting to me to figure out what between where we are down here in Florida
Yeah.
versus where you are, which is much, 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 much further north. Can you think of any really large differences in the way that we take care of a paranormal spot versus the way that you do? Would you
Um.
think that there's that much of a difference in them?
Well, up here, I would think it would be a lot easier for us to go into places at night in the dark because where you live, there's things that can eat you, and where we live, there really isn't a whole lot.
It's a good point.
I mean,
It's a good
you know,
point.
you have to get deep into the woods if we're going to catch a bear or something. But where you guys are, you got alligators and snakes and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, the living creatures are the ones that you got to worry about down there, I would imagine.
You do. You do. Um, do you get a lot of par- do you get a lot of crypto
Like crypt,
experiences up there?
like
Cryptid
big,
experiences?
Bigfoot and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Bigfoot is really big
Mhm.
here.
Is
I've
it?
never experienced myself. I've been to a lot of conferences in the area. A lot of people swear that they, have seen something, a Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever you want to call it. It's very big in the native culture here. It's
Yes.
everywhere you go in the Pacific Northwest. There's Bigfoot stuff like signs, and he's everywhere. It's a really popular thing. T-shirts and all sorts of stuff. It's a big market. It's kind of cool. I mean, I don't have a belief one way or another because I haven't had an experience, but I've interviewed a lot of very interesting people that have had some pretty interesting. I interviewed Cliff from Finding Bigfoot. I had him on. He was fun. And then I talked to Ron Moorhead. Ron Moorhead is the guy that captured the Sierra sounds. I don't know if you've heard of those, but those are pretty creepy.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would not want to hear those sounds in the woods. And he said they were like 8 miles deep in the woods too, so they couldn't just get out. You know,
That is not something you want to hear 8 miles in the woods.
no, when you're there
No.
back, and it's gonna take you hours to get out. And then I
Wow.
had Mark Marcel. Mark Marcel is he. I don't think you guys probably haven't heard of what's called the Ape Canyon story here, but we have Mount St. Helens. Back in 1924, I think it was, we had some gold miners that claimed that they were attacked by a group of Sasquatches while they were sleeping in their cabin one night, and Mark actually went and located where that cabin was. So yeah, he's got a documentary called the Siege of Ape Canyon.
You're cutting in and out on us, Jason.
Let's see what I can do about that here. Yeah, unfortunately, all I got is my phone here right now, so getting stuck in traffic. Normally, I have my computer and microphone and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully, that's a little bit better if I'm closer. All right. Can you hear me all right now?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we can.
So yeah, we do a lot of. There's a lot of cryptid stuff here. I don't personally go out in the woods and look for Bigfoot myself, but I mean, I have just for fun, but like I don't really know what I'm doing. So, you know, I'd probably run if I found him anyway. So, yeah.
Well, the only experience I've ever had was when I was like 16 years old. And I did actually see what I believe to be an adolescent male Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And it was behind a flight line off of an Air Force base where we were all at. And a big field, big wooded fielded area. And it stood about 8.5, 9 foot tall. And you hear these stories about them being 12 foot tall, and
Yeah.
they're just not that big. They're just
Yeah.
not that tall.
I
So
think
I
what
don't
it is,
know what people are seeing.
well, when you're scared, everything is bigger, you know?
It's true. It is true. Yeah, when you get frightened, everything has got a bigger look to it. But yeah, because I had guidelines, I could go by the trees.
Mm,
Where he was standing at was in some mangroves, and so I could really get a pretty good estimation of his size. And I would say he was about 8.5 to 9 foot tall, much bigger than a man, but not as huge as they say that they can come. But it was an ominous looking animal. It really was. It was definitely. I think the thing that struck me on him the most is the way when he turned to run, he ran through mangroves like he was just running through a stream.
Yeah.
It didn't faze him in the least. And I mean, no man can run through a mangrove like that. It's impossible. You
Did
can't
it
do it.
when you saw it?
Did it what?
Did it scare you? Were you afraid?
It terrified me. It
Yeah.
terrified me because I was so close to it. And I wasn't the only one even that saw it. It was
Yeah.
a we had a lot of people out there. Just curiosity, I think, got the better of him. I think that was probably due to his young he, being an adolescent. He was just curious. But at the time, I was with like about three people. We all saw it. We all saw it at the same time. So it wasn't like one of those, oh, I was the only one that saw it. No, like three other people that saw it too. But it was just fascinating the way how he just turned and just ran through those mangroves like it was nothing to him, nothing at all. But I do have to admit, there was a very pungent smell
Yeah.
before I saw him.
That's
There
pretty.
was. Yeah. Um, no, it was a horrible smell, but where he was around a cabbage field. So I really think it has to do with what they eat. That
Yeah.
smell, it has to do with what they eat because it had been time for the harvesting of this particular field. And, they got a lot of the stuff left over. They don't, it's not so good. And they just kind of leave it there. But there was a
Yeah.
lot of that still out in the field and it was starting to rot. And I think they were eating it. So
Yeah.
of course that's going to get all over them when they eat. And I think that's where the smell came from. It's just they're what they eat at the time. It just gives a very, very strong smell to them. And that's what I was smelling. So I found that to be really, really fascinating. Now, me being 16 years old, I've always experienced paranormal.
Yeah.
Always. My sister says she doesn't. It scares her. So she doesn't want anything to do with it. Um, but both my mother and my father, um, they were adults before they finally both admitted to me that both of them, especially I would say my dad, but both of them had gifts.
Yeah.
And but it was never said to me as a kid. It was just never talked about. And but it was an interesting discussion that I had with them as we were adults. And they said, yeah, that's where you're probably getting it from, which it is. But my sister claims no, she doesn't have anything like that at all. And interestingly enough, that my daughter wants nothing to do with it. And I think it frightens her as well. But she says that she doesn't really experience anything like that. But both of my boys are both pretty in tuned with it as well. So it's definitely a generational thing. It's definitely something
Yeah.
that carries down from, parent to kids, or
Yeah.
maybe even grandparents to kids.
Yeah. I've
Do
got
you
my daughter.
feel
Yeah.
you
What was that?
what?
I have my daughter's on my team, so yeah, she's my co-director for my team, and she's 26 now, so she's been on the team. I think she was probably like 20 when she joined, and so it's something we get to do together. It's something we both really enjoy going out and exploring haunted locations together. So it's pretty awesome.
It is. It is. I enjoy both of my boys joining in on it as well. It's that little family kind of business thing going on. Does your daughter have any gifts?
Um, yeah, I mean, like we're both pretty, neither one of us are psychic or mediums or anything like that, but we both kind of we can sense and feel things. Very empathic, really. The feelings and that kind of stuff. Well, we're not. Most of us, most of the time, we're not going to see like a spirit or something, or anything like that, or communicate with them like like a psychic would. But yeah, we get feelings and that direct us in a certain direction sometimes on our investigations.
I think it just comes with the territory, Jason.
Yeah,
After a while of doing it, you just naturally pick up on it.
yeah,
And I personally believe that every person is capable of it. Just
yeah,
not everybody either. Yep. Um, I just don't think that every person is interested in, pulling
yeah.
this out and exploring it further. They're like, nope, 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 nope.
It takes
But
work.
then other people, it does. It does. And then other people can excel at it even when they're not interested in it.
Yeah,
Um, I know I've been doing it since I've been a kid. It's just, I didn't think that it was anything different from what anybody else did. I didn't see it as being abnormal at all.
I
It was just
always
part of who I was.
when I was a kid, I just thought the things I was seeing and hearing, because I grew up in a haunted house, and I just thought it was my imagination. I'm a kid, and this has got to be my imagination. And when it was not. So, as an adult, I talked to my parents about it, and that they can confirm that that kind of stuff was going on in the house, and that several other family members had incidences in the house. Like my uncle, he got locked in the closet. He was trying to change a light bulb. The door shut, and he couldn't get out, and just stuff like that.
Now, is that a generational home? It's been in your family for a long time, or?
A lot of different family members lived there over the years. It no longer exists because it was really old. But yeah, we did have a lot of different family members live there over the years. Yeah. So yeah, it was interesting place. For sure. We saw, like, we would hear like an old man coughing in the bathroom at night, and just stuff like that. And my brother and I, we kept seeing a guy that would go in between our rooms and stuff at night. And it was weird because we didn't really talk about it as kids, but as an adult, we both described the same person.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, it was an interesting house to say the least.
And it's interesting because I think most people who really go into the paranormal has grown up or has lived in a home that they did
Yeah,
have experiences with. Yeah,
yeah,
started off that way.
a lot of us have kids.
And
Yeah,
it's true. And of course, with a kid's curiosity, it piques it and it just carries on from there.
yeah, because you don't know you're not supposed to do those kind of things when you're a kid. You know,
Exactly, exactly. Um, Even my grandson, little Roman, right now, he's beginning to fascinate us because Jason has disappeared again.
did I disappear? I still see me.
And remember, we're quite a distance away from each other, but he's pulled over to the side of the road, so maybe his Wi-Fi isn't doing so good where he is.
It says,
There he is.
let's see here.
There he was.
Huh. There we go.
It's hard when you're on a phone. It's hard to keep that. There you are.
Yeah. See, on my end, everything looks normal. So I don't know why that was. Yeah. What's going on? Yeah. All right.
Okay, there you are. There you. Okay, I think that you're coming in pretty good now.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, but little Roman talks about people that he used to be,
Oh, that's
one
cool.
in particular. And yeah, it fascinates us because he'll talk about something that used to be. It's
Yeah.
not that way anymore, but it used to be.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah.
We're like, it is kind of.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
every once in a while, you're like,
Yeah. It's kind of creepy too, though. My
yeah, it can be.
Yeah, my daughter used to talk about my grandmother who passed before she died. Yeah, she used to talk about her a lot.
Really?
Yeah, so that was always interesting.
That is interesting. I can remember only one thing about my grandmother, and we lived in Germany at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember her going down and lifting me out of a playpen. So I think I was like at 2,
Huh.
and I actually remember it. It's the only thing I can remember from her, but that's the one thing I can and I'm so grateful that I got that little bit of a
Yeah.
smidgen of a memory from her, But, kids are amazing. Kids are just a wealth of information that they have absolutely no idea that they have. And, and it's really, really interesting. Um, so, well, let's getting back to the paranormal groups.
Yeah.
Have you have you discussed these groups or these sites that you've taken an interest in? Which they're rather big. Have you taken and initiated any steps to see if you can get a well-known name to go in there and check it out with you?
Yeah. There has been quite a few people that have been through there. I know that Ghost Adventures came through, and there was I think Jack Osborne came through the old pin as well. I know I can't remember the name of the show. That he was an actor. And he had his kids with him. I can't remember the name of the show, but several. There's been several different TV shows that have come through there to the old Idaho State Penitentiary. Yeah,
Very interesting. So it's pretty well documented.
yeah. It's that's it's they keep it as like a museum now. So they do paranormal tours as
Oh,
well as like
okay.
normal tours, and it's pretty cool to be there at night, when nobody's there, and like you could hear people walking around on the different tiers of the prison that aren't actually there.
Wow, really?
It's a pretty cool place.
So it's multi-stories.
Yeah, there's several different buildings there, and there'll be like, you go into one building and like that you can't go to the top, tiers of the prison because it's been so, some of the places it's just so old and been shut down for so long it's not safe, but you can hear people walking around up there. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
that's always fascinating. That really is. Um, there's a couple of places around here that you can hear a guard's keys jiggling
oh,
as
that's
he
cool.
walks, you could. I mean, it's just as clear as a bell that you can hear it. You
Yeah.
can't see anything, but you can
Oh,
hear that.
wow.
Um, I always found that to be pretty fascinating. We've also had a lot of good luck with experimenting with old hospitals.
Yeah.
There's an old hospital, yes. And that's a wealth of information in a hospital because trauma,
Yeah.
heartbreak, I mean, it all happens there.
Also
Recovery,
birth. Yeah. Good.
hmm deaths and births.
Yeah, there's a
And
state hospital here in Oregon that people like to investigate, but they don't allow you to investigate there. So, I mean, people do it anyway.
mm,
We don't. So, we have a strict rule that we don't go anywhere we don't have permission to be. So,
we do the same thing. We really frown on that. It's called trespassing, any
yeah,
way that you look at it.
yeah,
So, yeah, we don't do that. Um, but in this particular case, that when we went through this one hospital, um, it was absolutely fascinating, and it's not a big place. It's
yeah,
not a it's not a big place at all. It's in a smaller town, And I think that they're reworking it now to where they can take like therapies and stuff like that, turning it into office buildings
Yeah.
or office spaces. But I personally don't think it's such a good idea after we went through. It's like therapy in there.
Right.
I don't know about that, but I guess they're making it work for them.
Yeah.
But we found out absolutely amazing things. People, well, like this one little lady was just sitting there, just waiting for somebody to come and get her.
Yeah.
It's like she was discharged, but she never left.
That's sad.
It was the saddest thing. It
Yeah.
is. It really, really is. It was heartbreaking. And she ended up going home with one of the teammates,
Oh no.
and she was a real. Oh yeah, she was a handful too. Just a little
Eh,
old lady.
just wandered
And
right.
finally,
Yeah.
yeah, and finally, she was asked very politely, "You gotta go.
Yeah.
You
Well,
gotta go back."
I always try to tell them when I'm leaving, thanks for visiting, but you have to stay here. I'm leaving. I'll be back.
Exactly. Don't come see me. I'll come see you. We'll be back, but don't come
Yeah.
see me. But yeah, we saw some absolutely. Well, that was the first place that we really got thrown downstairs. I
Yeah.
mean, something was didn't want us there and made it absolutely clear that they did not want us there. And it was hard keeping the group together because it was a lot of things happening all at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's hard to keep your wits about you when, you're worried about members of your team possibly seriously getting hurt. But
Yeah. That's a huge thing for us.
well,
I always go in and do a walkthrough first, and if it's not safe, my team doesn't go in.
right, right.
I mean, I have we have had,
And
but yeah. I mean, because there's not much
and
you
it's
can
a
do about
tough call to make.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I had a teammate fall down the
exactly.
stairs, break her ankle on an investigation. It was,
Ow.
you know, what was weird was she was like, I'm okay, and then like she finished the investigation, and like 2 weeks later, she went to the doctor because her ankle was still hurting, and they're like, "Oh, it's broken." Yeah,
But she didn't fall down or anything?
yeah, she fell down the stairs, but like she said she was
Oh, she
fine.
did.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, I'm fine, I'm fine." She finished the investigation, and then 2 weeks later, she was still hurting, so she went into the doctor, and they told her it was broken. So that was,
Whoa.
yeah. Like, what do you do? So now I always threaten to wrap her in bubble tape when, or whatever, when she goes on investigation. Yeah, she doesn't
Yeah,
like.
we've had all kinds of things happen to us on investigations. The At that one particular place, there was the my really good friend and her husband were there at the time, and he was behind me. I was behind her, and there was somebody else behind him. But somehow it got all four of us
Oh,
because it came flying down the stairs at her, who was up in the front, knocked her over, knocked her into me. I got knocked into Raymond, and then Raymond got knocked into, I think it was Nina, who was the last one. Every one of us got it. That thing hit us so hard, all four of us got it and
thankfully,
knocked
I've
us right down the stairs.
never experienced anything like that. Thankfully, it's possible, but
It
we've
was
been we've
wild.
been, we've been pretty lucky for the most part. Yeah, we just kind of stay together and keep things as respectful as possible and hope for the best.
It's true. It is true. Yeah, that's one thing that we don't. Well, you know what? As I think back on it, I think it was somebody on the team who wasn't a regular team member
Yeah,
started to get a bit gruff and started instigating.
yeah. I don't. You don't
And
want
you don't want to do that. And I was like, don't, please don't. You know, that's not the way that we do things. We don't like to instigate. I mean, hell, nobody wants to be nobody wants to be instigated when they're alive. I
to.
could
Right.
hardly see how that would change when
Yeah.
you're not.
I taught a
And to
class.
me, it's just
Yeah.
not good.
I taught an ethics class, paranormal investigation ethics class over the weekend, and that was one of my
Mhm.
things was you wouldn't want somebody cussing at your dead grandparents, right?
Right.
You know, because we believe that these, spirits were once people in the physical world. So why would we treat them any differently?
Exactly. Taunting is just not, it's not a good idea.
It works,
And it,
but yeah,
it does. But unfortunately, like in this particular case, it worked so well, we all ended up at the bottom of the stairs.
yeah, which you don't
And
need.
yeah, that was like, just wasn't a whole lot of fun. But I mean, luckily nobody got really hurt,
Yeah,
you know, and we just continued doing what we were doing. But that was a fascinating investigation because we actually had on film a hanging figure. It was weird. As soon as we started getting everything set up, somebody pointed out the figure in this one doorway. And, we were looking at it. We said, that's a guy hanging. He's just hanging there. Just,
huh,
but he was animated. He'd move once in a while. So he was animated. But, so you could see like a hand move or a foot move, or he'd kind of give like a little, move about.
yeah,
But he was just hanging there by his neck like this. He was just hanging there. And he stayed there all night long, all
that's
night, never moved. So we figured, what would happen if we walked up to him? Because you always wonder that. Well, go up to him, see if you can, you know. And we did. We went up right in the doorway that he was hanging at. You couldn't see anything.
yeah,
Just to look at the doorway, you could not see it. We tried to see if there was any shadows that could create an illusion of having somebody hanging. Nothing was there. You go back to the monitor, and there it was, just as clear as a bell. And
wow,
we have that up on one of our websites, yeah, of
very cool.
this hanging entity there. But one of the team members even was like, "Well, can you walk through the doorway?" I don't know. You try it, and he did,
Yeah,
and he just walked right through it. I was like,
but you gotta do something.
but yeah, nothing phased Stephen. Nothing. I mean, he was like a rock. Nothing. When Stephen got a little bit surprised, that was probably time to run. We were just too stupid to realize it. We just stayed. But Stephen was just steady as a rock. But it was really very interesting, even when you're watching it on the monitor, when Stephen walks through it, it's like he completely walks through this entity,
Huh,
both ways, and it still stayed there. It just still didn't move.
interesting.
And I found that fascinating. It's like, how many times during a day does that happen to people?
We walk through a ghost and don't know it.
And you just don't know. You know? And I asked Stephen, I said, well, did it feel anything weird or anything? He goes, no, I just walked through a doorway.
Huh.
Maybe because I know it's there, I'm feeling like, but other than that, no, not really. It's a doorway. It's just a doorway. Well, not on video, it's not. He's definitely there. So these old buildings, just what a history that you can collect up
Yeah.
from something like that. It really is fascinating. But yeah, we do. We really enjoy going to those old places. There's an old jail that we go to up here, Pauley Jail, and it, the history behind that is amazing. If you guys ever do come back down closer into this area, um, you know, keep in touch with us, and we could definitely take you to some really amazing places that your team would be
Yeah. It'd be fun.
thrilled to go into. I mean, there's some really neat places down here. Um, but I mean, they're everywhere. They're a
Yeah.
dime a dozen. They are everywhere. And when you really think about all these places, that all kinds of really professional investigations can occur.
Yeah.
Why hasn't why hasn't somebody been able to break some kind of a code into figuring out what's going on? Obviously, it's going on. Your team's catching it. My team's catching it. There's 100,000 teams out there that are catching these. They're
And
out there.
we're no closer to proving the existence of ghosts than when we started.
Exactly.
When we have all these, everything
Exactly.
we know, everything that we know is what we believe is all theory. We haven't proven anything. We believe that EVP is our spirits communicating. We believe that sometimes we catch them on camera. Well, we can't prove that's what it is. So yeah, until we can, who knows? But it's
It
technology hasn't
Go
changed
ahead.
much. Yeah, technology hasn't changed a whole lot. I mean, we have new things now like spirit boxes and REM pods and stuff like that, but those don't really prove much of anything. I mean, they're fun to play with, and you can get some interesting results with them, but they don't prove anything.
It's true.
Somebody asked me,
It's true. Everything's conjecture.
I mean, with the spirit box though, like I've gotten responses on the spirit box of language that you wouldn't hear on the radio because it's not legal to use the F word on the radio or whatever.
Right. Right.
You get you go, why are we getting this? It's not that wasn't on the radio. Like, can't say that.
Exactly.
And I've
If it
gotten that.
can't be on the radio and you're picking up on radio
Yeah.
jibber jabber, that wouldn't be on the radio.
No, like several times I've gotten the F word on the spirit box, and they don't say the F word on
Hmm.
the. So,
That's true.
and it makes me laugh every
That's
time.
true. It's just, I mean, it remains one of humanity's greatest secrets,
What?
and has been that way for hundreds of years, thousands of years. It's the world's greatest secret ever kept.
Yeah. What happens when
You
you
think
die?
somebody would?
You have to die to figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. It is just the greatest. To me, it's the greatest secret that's ever been kept.
Yeah.
Is that world right there? And I guess we all had to have something to look forward to, or as my dad said before he passed, off to the next adventure.
Yeah. Whatever
And
that.
it's whatever that is. But hopefully, you and I won't find that anytime soon.
I'm not
So I can wait. Yeah, I
looking.
I'm good. I'm wait. I'm good. I can wait. It's okay by me.
Yeah.
Um, but thank you so much for being on the show.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
If you guys are ever yeah, if you guys are ever down this area, please, we'd love to get together and trade some stories and see if we can take you to some places that are really, really good.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah. Hit me up.
yeah, and then
Portland.
yeah, Portland's one in an area that I've never been to. My dad actually lived up there for a bit, and he said it was stunningly beautiful.
It
It was
is
just
really.
beautiful.
It's not. It's not what you hear on TV. Let's put it that way. It's I
Yeah,
work. I work in downtown Portland every single day. It's safe. It's beautiful. It's no different than the other big city with, we have our problems,
no.
but it's certainly not a war zone, and it's certainly, it's people are happy here in Portland. People run around with their dogs, and that's what we do here. We run around with our dogs. So that's it.
Happy people means a lot about the city itself.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
It really, you got a lot of happy people there.
we do, and of course, it's got its issues like every other major city, but it's not
Yeah.
perfect. But yeah, we're doing well here.
Well, my dad certainly enjoyed living up there for the short while that he did. He was like, it's a stunningly beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful place. So, but thank you, Jason, for coming. We certainly do appreciate it. And definitely keep in touch with us. And if we can ever meet up, that would be just wonderful. And for everybody out there, I want to thank you for watching Spooky Things with Debbie. Um, we've been kind of resting up from last weekend with the Medieval Faith Fest. And I wanted to give a shout out to our our vendors and our patrons and our guests and our performers for the Faith Fest. You guys are amazing. You're wonderful. What a magical time. Everybody had such a wonderful time. And you guys helped to make that happen. And this was our premier Faith Fest. We're definitely having another one next year, but it's just going to be bigger and better. And with all that we've heard, you guys have inspired us to really go for it big time next year. You guys out there take care. Jason, thank you again so very much for taking your time to talk to us on the
totally.
side of the road on top of it all.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, no
You
problem.
take care. And everybody out there, you have a great week. And we'll see you next Tuesday at 7. Thanks a lot, you guys. Bye bye.